I'll show you how to create a WordPress website using Elementor Cloud. We will create a website using a drag and drop page builder, so you don't need to know how to code. For example, this is how easy it is to add an image gallery to your page. Find it in the list of elements, drag it into your website, then just add your images and adjust settings to your liking. You can choose from hundreds of pre-built design templates, so you don't need to start from scratch. For example, you could have a website like this, or maybe like this one here, or maybe a web shop like this, or maybe something more creative like this one. I'll show you how to edit and create new pages, change images, and update the navigation bar. On top of that, you will learn how to create these subtle animations when you scroll through your website, and how to create a page transition like this one. And in the end, I will show you how to buy and connect a custom domain name to your website so that it looks super professional. My goal is to give you the skills to use the software so you can build your own website.
Tips with punch.
Hello internet people, my name is Robert, and to get started, just scroll down in the description of this video and click on the first link. And you'll land on this page, which is the homepage of Elementor Cloud. Elementor is also the sponsor of this video. They reached out to me if I could check out their new platform called Elementor Cloud, which is like a powerful page builder and web hosting in one solution. In the past, you would have first buy a web hosting, then install WordPress on top of it, and after install Elementor plugin inside WordPress. But now they've just combined it all into one easy package. And the best part is that it comes with Elementor Pro features, which is definitely worth the investment. I've used Elementor for years, and it's my go-to page builder because it's flexible, comes with lots of pre-built templates, and has millions of users. And right now, the whole package is priced at $99 per year. Now, you do need to include about $9 for a domain name as extra, but you don't need it to get started. So let's create an account with Elementor. And then just click on Buy Now or Join Now, whatever is the closest button for you. And next, you have to create an account. Unless you have one, then you can log in already here. So I'm going to create a new one. Create an account. Then you need to fill in the traffic lights. All right, I'm signed in. Then you need to fill in your billing information. And once you're done, you can click on continue. And then you can pay with credit card or PayPal. Once you've done your purchase, you can see here, thank you for your purchase. And you can go to my account or start creating your website. Let's just start with that. Let's start with the website. So first of all, let's give our website a name. So I'm going to be building a handyman website. So I'm going to just call it Top Handyman. And click on next. In the second step, it tells you that your website domain will be this one. So the name you just chose plus Elementor Cloud. So it's a subdomain of Elementor Cloud. It tells you here that you can also separately purchase a custom domain name. And I'll show you how to do that a bit later in this video, but it's totally possible. You just need to connect it from somewhere else. But this is a perfect way to start out. So, okay, got it. I'm happy to use the Top Handyman because that's my business name. So let's click on next. Here, they will help you to set up the website as you want. So what kind of website are you creating? So in my case, it is more of a business or corporation. And let's click on next. Now you can choose a website kit, and this just means that they have these templates that are pre-built for you. There's a lot of options for different kind of businesses, and the best part is even if the business is not correct for you, so for example this bodybuilding, if I like the template itself, I can change it to anything else. This could become my handyman website or my tutoring website. It doesn't matter as long as you like the layout. So how do you see a layout? Well, you click here on what's inside, and then I would just choose preview here on top. And this will open up a new tab with this template as a website. Here you can see what's going on. So there's a lot of different elements here. And then you can even change pages here like this. So all of this will come with the template, right? This is not what I'm looking for. So I'm going to go back to website kits. And here I'm going to choose all types because that way you have much more options. So you have here 103 results. You can also search for certain things. So I already looked for a cool template. It's called basketball. And I'm going to choose it. Again, what's inside. And here you can preview it. If you want to see it on mobile, you can even click here and preview how it looks like on mobile. Just a quick preview like this. All right, I'm happy with this. Let's start with this kit. And it doesn't matter which kit you will select at this point because I'm going to show you how to use Elementor, not so much how to use this specific template. All right, now it's setting up the page and it probably takes a few minutes. So I'm going to pause the video until then. Okay, that took a few minutes. And once it's done, you'll see here, let's go. Let's do it. Let's take a look what it looks like. You land here in your dashboard with your websites. This is basically inside your Elementor account. And under websites, you have now one whole website. Before we go any further, I just want to show you that this site is right now on lock. So if you click on it and let's change this setting. And now it takes you here to site lock. You can disable it. Once you disable it, then everybody can see your website. Right now, if somebody goes to your URL, they will just have this lock and then they can access it. So once you're done with everything, you come here. So that's Elementor dashboard and websites. And you go to site lock, you disable it. And first you need to verify your email. So let me do that. So you get an email like this. Just click on confirm email. And it'll tell you, thanks for verifying your email. And now we're good to go. Got it. Now let's refresh this page. Let's go to the site lock section. I'm going to disable it. And now I could unlock this site. So you could unlock it right now if you want to, because you're new to this. So there's nobody will come to your website by accident, just by typing this URL. So you could unlock it. If you want to have a bigger release, you can wait until it's done. I'm going to unlock the site. And then you can go ahead and go back to websites. And now you can go and click on edit with Elementor. And once it's loaded, you can see the website. So once the page is loaded, you can start updating anything you want. So let's say you want to change this text. You click on the text, just select it and start typing your text. Hello. Like that. Super simple. Same thing with the other subtext here. You can just start typing. So remove the text here and you can start typing like this. If you want to change any of the images, so let's say this guy, the dunking guy, what if I want to change it to something else? You click on the image and then here on the left you have choose image. You can either upload yourself a new file or you can use the media library that's already there. This comes with the theme, so it really depends what you have there. I wouldn't use the same images, so I would just upload new files here. So let's do that. I'm going to upload myself with the transparent background like this. And now here at the bottom, you can insert the media into Elementor like this. Now you can see there's a little effect there still on because that's how the template was set up. And now my picture is also there. It kind of fits in this case, although there's a weird because you don't actually, I'm not fully there. But anyway, this is how you change the image. If you're not happy with the size, maybe it's too big, you could change it to smaller one. And then if you need, you can also change to custom. In this case, you can say, okay, I want it to be 200 by 200 pixels. And if I apply it, disappeared. It took a bit of time, but it appeared there. So now it's 200 by 200. I'm going to change it how it was to large. All right, what if you wanted to add a new section, for example, between this one and this? All you have to do is come to the previous one. And when you hover over this, you'll see that you have this blue ribbon here. You click on the plus, and now you can add a new structure. I'll just add a simple one column layout like this. And now if you come here on top and click this mosaic icon, you can now drag and drop any of these elements. You can see there's a lot of them, all kinds of elements. It starts with the basic elements like images, videos, and buttons. Then you have the pro features that come with this plan. So this is the added value that you actually go with Elementor Cloud, that you get the pro account included. So here you have things like portfolio, gallery, and reviews and countdown and stuff like that. You can explore them a bit later. And also you have the general boxes here. These are like the most generic ones that pretty much every website has, like social icons. And if you want to have testimonial, you can add it from here. But for now, so let's say I want to add a video here. So all I have to do is click on the video and drag it here until I see this blue shading. And that means that's where it's going to place the video. So if I let go, now it places the full screen video like this here. Now on the left, I have few options to update this. Now you can adjust a lot of things for this element. For example, for video, there's its own content block here. If it would be an image, it would have different options here. Then you have the style tab where you can adjust the colors and typography here. For the video, it's not applicable because they don't have those kind of things. So there's no text or anything. And then you have advanced where there's even more things, like you have here the layout and also motion effects, transform effects, and you can even add a CSS ID or class here. This is a bit more advanced, but just so you know that you're able to do these things here. So if I go to content, now what I could do is add a video here. So I could go to YouTube and just grab a video, and then it would appear here instead. There's other settings here specific to the video. So let's say actually I don't want a video. Well, then I can just delete the whole section from here. Or I can hover over the video, and here at the top corner, you have the pen icon. You right click on it. You can now, you see that edit video. Now you can delete it here. So I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to add an image instead. So now I add an image, and you can see that in the content tab, there's different kind of settings here. These are related to the image. So each of these elements will have their own content, style, and advanced tabs. I mean, you can do similar things in each, but they are really depending on the element you're dragging into this. Now, another thing I want to mention is when I add a new section here, let me add a new section. You can see that there are these columns. Now, Elementor has specific structure to build websites that you need to be aware of. First, there's a section. Inside the section, you can have multiple columns. Columns also dictate how the website will look like on mobile. So they basically, the elements just get stacked up on top of each other. And inside a column, you can have multiple elements. These vary a lot, and that's where the magic happens. So the elements I talked about is actually these guys. So these go inside the columns, and columns go inside a section. Just something to keep in mind. Anytime, let me delete this one. Sometimes you want to update the element itself, so you just can click on the element and start updating it. Then sometimes you actually want to update the column. Usually you can navigate here. You can see this icon. If you right click on it, you can edit the column. And then sometimes you want to update the section. And the section, you just hover over here. And if you see this blue ribbon, that's a section. You can right click here. And now you can edit the section as well. Each of these also have their own settings. Now, in most cases, you don't need to fiddle with them so much, but it's good to know that there's this structure. So for example, with sections, you can change the background color. So this section has a white one, but maybe this one you want to have a gray one or something else. This is how you create cool websites also, that they're not so monotonic that you only have everything in white. And then if you ever get lost, what you can do is here at the bottom, you have this navigator icon. If you click on it, this appears, and this is how you can also navigate the website. So you can see here we have the hero banner at the top. There's a column. Now if you click here on the right in the navigator, it will select that column, and then if you click on this other column, it will select the second column here. Inside that column, there's an image, this main image, and then there's also this image, the blue little thingy. And you see that there's actually a third image, and that's like an effect. I'll show you how to update those a bit later. But this is a good way to, sometimes an image might be behind another image. So then this is a way to get to them. I'm going to hide the navigator by just clicking on the X. You can also reveal the editor by right clicking anywhere and choosing navigator. So I showed you how to add an element like this, but Elementor also comes with pre-built templates. And the cool thing is it's really easy to build a website like that. So let me show you. Let's say I'm going to delete this image. And I'm going to add a new section again, clicking on this plus. And now instead of clicking on the red plus, I can click on this file icon. And once it's loaded, this might take a bit of time. It took me like a minute to load these, but once it loaded, you can see all kinds of pages here. These are like full pages that if you insert this, the whole page will change like to this. Maybe this is a bit too much, but we can go to the blocks here on the left. So here you can add these blocks. These are pre-built blocks, and they will be added as is, as you can see them here. And right now it doesn't look so interesting, but let's go and filter out these because there's so many of them. So let's say we wanted to add something to above our portfolio here. So if I choose portfolio, you can see that there's a lot of different options. And since you have the Pro features, you can also use the Pro blocks here. Let's say I like this one. I'm gonna preview it. And here I can click on it and see what happens. So if I click on this image library, then I can then go through the images. So let's say I actually like this one, so I'm gonna insert it. So click on the green insert button here on top to add it to your page. And then it adds it to your page. So now this whole block is on your page. Now you can go in and change the images here. And again, as mentioned before, the content tab here, it has different selections for specific for this image gallery. Now I could go and just edit the gallery. For example, I could delete all of these images and select new ones. Now I don't have that many, but I'm just gonna add a few different images like this. And you can see you can upload them yourself like this, or then you can also add to gallery. So you go back to your gallery and then look for images there. You can see there's a few options here. Now, while working on Elementor, you're probably going to be on your desktop, so you're gonna see everything in desktop. So if you're kind of want to just have a quick view, you can click on this arrow here and it will show the full page here. So you can just scroll around here and see how it looks like on a proper desktop. And then click again on the arrow here on the left to expand the Elementor dashboard or the Elementor widget here. But about like 70 or 80% of online traffic is actually on mobile nowadays. So you actually need to check that this looks good on mobile. And you can do that by going here at the bottom, responsive mode. If you click on it, you have more options here on top. You can see that you have the desktop, tablet, and then mobile. If you click on the mobile, it will resize the page so that it looks exactly as it would be on the mobile phone. Now, this depends slightly on the mobile phone version. So for example, a big iPhone will show this slightly differently than a small Android device. But anyway, it gives you a good indication how it will look like on mobile. So if you start scrolling, you have here a scroller and just double check that everything looks good. Here at the top, you saw that all the image gallery, they stack up on top of each other. And then there are certain features, like if I click on this text and I go to style and then I edit the style, I can actually resize. You see here the size. If I click on the mobile here, I can now, so the mobile is selected, I can now resize this text to be smaller on mobile. Let's say like 26 on mobile. But then if I go to desktop, it's still the big one. So if let me see on desktop, you see desktop 65. This is how you can adjust certain text or images or things like that to be specific to a device. Now, it's not available for all settings. Like you see here, you can adjust the responsiveness for size, line height, letter spacing, but you cannot do it for weight, transform, or style. So whenever you see this little icon, it means you can then adjust the settings specifically for a device. Super useful tool, especially when you start changing your website for mobile. Anytime you're happy with your design, don't forget to update the page. So click here on update to save the page. And one more thing I want to show you here is if you go to this hamburger menu, so these three lines, and click on it, you have this site settings. Let's go inside there. And this is super useful section because here you can set global colors and fonts, and just in general you can do things with typography, buttons, and headers and footers, and just in general most settings are here. So if I go to global colors, you see here primary and you have the accent. Right now the buttons are blue here. Let's say I want it to be some different color. I can now go here and select another color. Let's say a red or an orange or something like this. Yeah, you can see that now anything that has been linked to this accent color, so if you use the accent color on any of the elements, they would change. So for example, I have the button here, but also the contact us here on top. And I think there was another button here. they all change to orange. This is super useful because then you can just make the update once and it will update everywhere, not only on this page, but everywhere in Elementor. And in the long run, this will keep your website consistent and it will just look much more professional if you use the same color for the same elements. Same thing goes, you can adjust the primary color and also secondary and even the text color. So let's say if you're not happy with this kind of a black, you could make it kind of gray, but then obviously that will change the text to gray everywhere. And you want to keep it to as close to black as possible. And in case you need more colors here, you can just add color and you see here the custom color appears here and you can give it a name and then just select the color you want. And now this becomes a global color that you can use anywhere you want. Let me just delete this. I don't need it for now. And same thing in the site settings, you also have global fonts and it works the same way. You have global fonts that you set once and then just use those when you add new elements or import new blocks. You would need to change in the blocks the primary color and stuff like that. So this will just greatly improve how quickly you can build the website and maintain it in the long run. And once you're happy with everything here in the site settings, you can click on update. This will save your settings. You can see here it's been updated. And now you can close the site settings. And you see that it turned from blue to red. That means you're now back into the editor as soon as this loader is done. Okay, great. Now on this page, you're able to edit anything. But what if we want to edit this part? You can click on this edit header on top. And once you're inside, once it's loaded, you can see that you have different kind of elements here. These are specific for a header, so navigation elements and stuff like that. But you see you have these here. You already have a nav menu here, so you don't need to add that. And you have a logo here, but it doesn't work. Let's click on the logo and see what's going on. Click on the site identity link here. And it takes you back to site settings. And here you can upload a site logo. So if I click on this, and now I can upload a new logo here. So upload files, then I'll select the file. Here I have a top handyman and click on it. And by the way, this is a logo from another Elementor starter kit or like a template. So I'll select that one and then insert the media. And now it's added here. I can also add site fav icon. Fav icon is this little icon that appears here when you see Elementor. And right now there is none because we haven't added one. You can add it here, but it needs to be a square. So basically 512 by 512. If it's not that, it's not a big deal as long as it's a square. So I could add myself now there just because I don't have a fav icon, but it would look a bit ridiculous if I'm there. But we can add it like that. Now if you update it, let's update the site settings. Oh, and I forgot to update this part. So you could give your site a description also. Like this. Again, click on update. And now let's close the site settings. And now if you refresh the page, you can see you have the logo there now. You still have the same information here. And let's say we want to preview this page. We can click on this eye icon and it will preview the changes. Now you can see here, there's my fav icon with my logo there. Or in this case, it's just my picture. You have the menu and you have the whole website here. This is how you can preview what you've done so far. I'll show you how to update this pop-up a bit later in this video. I'm going to close this and then I'm going to close this tab as well, because I want to keep going at this header. So if I click again on edit header. Okay, I think we're done with the logo. We can also now click on these 6 dots and select the section for header. And you'll notice that for the header also you can adjust certain things here. So for example, you can adjust the width. You could adjust the style in terms of like background colors and stuff like that. So for example, now if I scroll down, it becomes white like this. So it's transparent and then it becomes white. But what if I don't want that? I can just have, I'll disable the scrolling effect. Now you can see it's white from the start. So there's no scrolling effect. But I actually like that. So I'm going to keep it. And this is where you actually adjust those effects. You can also adjust the colors. For example, it's white now. Or what if I wanted red? Now it won't look that great, but you can select it. And once you start scrolling, you can see it changes the color to red. I'm not gonna do that. White actually looks good. So here you can adjust things specifically for the header in general. You also have advanced options here if you want to adjust something like the motion effect or responsiveness. Just play around with this. There's a lot of settings here, and a lot of them you won't need in the beginning, but once you get a bit more advanced, they become very, very handy. If you want to add anything to the header, all you have to do is again click on this mosaic icon and you can add things here. So for example, if you want to add site title, you could do that. I mean, right now it doesn't fit anywhere, but there's a possibility to add something like this. I'm gonna press on Control Z on my keyboard, or if you're on Mac, you can click on Command Z and then you'll undo what you just did. Okay, so let's say we are happy with this page now and we clicked on update. Let's go to WordPress dashboard. So I click here and then click on exit to dashboard. And let's click on dashboard here on top. Basically, you are now inside the WordPress dashboard. So as mentioned before, Elementor is built on top of WordPress. WordPress itself is a very, very popular content management system. I think about 30% of all websites on the internet use WordPress. So it's very popular. This is how it works. You have obviously the dashboard, but then the important sections are posts. This is where you write your blog posts and things like that. Then you have pages where you create pages like your home page, about page, contact us, or portfolio page and things like that. Posts don't work that well for that because they're really designed for blogging. That's how WordPress started. It was a blogging platform, which then evolved to much more. Then you have comment section, but if you enable comments in WordPress, you're able to collect comments in posts. And then you have media library. We already kind of looked at it. You have the Elementor because you already pre-installed the Elementor, so you have it here. You have some templates from Elementor. Under appearance, you could change the theme and customize certain things, but I think you can do everything in Elementor, so you don't need to worry about those right now. In the menus, we're going to visit that soon and create our own menu, but before that, we need to create a few pages. Now, plugins section is super useful because this is where you can actually add features to WordPress. We're going to actually look at my top picks for plugins that you must have once you've set up your page. We're going to take a look at that a bit later. Then you have users, so what users you add, tools, and settings. Now, let me quickly show you how to disable or update that pop-up we saw a bit earlier. So if you come here and go to templates and pop-ups, you can see that we have already one subscription pop-up, and we can click here on Edit with Elementor. Now, sometimes it takes a bit of a while to load, especially if you're first time here. So just wait, might take a minute or two. And now you can see that this is exactly the same editor as with any other page that you edit with the Elementor. And you can start updating here. One thing to always check is that when you have a form, make sure you go to email and check that your email is the correct one so it goes to the right place. Later on, you could connect this also to an email marketing software like MailerLite or ConvertKit, and that way you're gonna just receive those emails to those software directly. In additionally, pop-ups also have some extra features. If you go here where the publish is and open up the save options, you have also display conditions and triggers. For example, display conditions, you could set here, for example, that this pop-up shows up when the page is singular and front page. Or if you have some triggers, you could say on scroll. Actually, I don't usually like on scroll. It could be now on page load. So for example, after 30 seconds, the page loaded, then show the pop-up. But you could also have here other triggers. So we can click to close this. Now, actually, I don't want to have pop-up for now, so I'm going to go back. Just going to click on the hamburger menu, exit to dashboard. And I'm going to update the status from published to draft. Okay. Then I'm updating it. And now the pop-up is disabled. And let's go back to dashboard. So let's go ahead and create another page because that's what we need. If we go inside the page menu, you can see we already have a bunch of pages here. These are come with the template that we created. To be honest, I don't think I'm gonna need most of these pages. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select the ones that I don't think I'll need. So these are very specific to the basketball. I'm gonna select the pages I don't need. And then I can here in bulk action. So I've selected them, bulk action, and move to trash. And then click on apply. This will just clean up what we have here. Also, it will unpublish the pages so we don't have this the pages just floating around for no reason. I'm also gonna actually move this to trash, the sample homepage. This way we only have home and contact us. And let's just add a new page. And we can call it portfolio. So give it a name, and then from here in the right, in the template, choose the Elementor full width, like this. And then you can go to permalink. And if you scroll down, you have URL slug. And URL slug just means, like here, you can see this is your domain name / portfolio. Sometimes you want to adjust this so that it's a bit shorter than, for example, your page name. So this URL slug is given from the page name. Sometimes you just want to shorten it so it's easy to type into the browser. And then you have featured image, but for the page, you don't really need that. For the post, it's good to put them there. Once you're happy with everything, just click on update. And then you can go and edit with Elementor. So we've set up this page with WordPress, and now anything that goes on the page, we do in Elementor because that's where the page builder is at best. The structure you do in WordPress, everything that goes on the page goes inside the Elementor. You can see here, this is an empty page. This is the footer. We can later adjust this if we want to, and you can start dragging elements to it. For example, I'm going to create a 2-column setup here, and then I can add, for example, a heading, and then I can add also an image in the second column. And this is how you start building up your page. From here on, just keep on updating, add your elements that you want. I'm gonna save this one for now and go back to WordPress because I want to adjust the menu here. Let's click on the hamburger menu and exit to dashboard. And now here on the left, let's go to appearance and menus. Here you could choose one of the menus that already came with the template, but you can see that some of the elements are actually missing because we deleted those pages. But we're just going to create a new menu. Click on this link. Now here you can give your menu a name. I'm going to call it main menu. And then just select that it displays in the header and create menu. Now it's created and we need to actually add things to it. First of all, I'm going to add my page portfolio and contact us. Add to menu. So if I click on add to menu, then it adds it here. On the left is the new elements that you need to add to the right section, which is the actual menu. Now let's say I actually would like to also add a custom link. In this case, it will be home. And you can just add a /. This will take the user to the home page. So if I add to the menu, you can see the home is here. I could now drag it as first element. In that case, I would have home, portfolio, and contact us. Now I'm keeping this super simple. It's not very common to keep home anymore because you can always click on the logo in the navigation. So I'm going to delete it because we don't need it. So now we have very simple menu. We have portfolio and contact us. This is how you would start adding more pages to this menu. Once you're happy with everything, you can just scroll down and click on save menu here at the bottom. And now that menu is saved. Now we can go to our pages. So go to pages, all pages. And we can go in, if we hover over the home, we can edit it with Elementor. And here we still have the old menu. So let's click on edit header. And if you right click on any of these elements and edit nav menu, now you can see here you have the option to choose main menu as well. Let's select main menu, click on the update, and you can see that now we have the right form. Now, for some reason, there's also the contact us here by itself. I think it's done this way so that it was styled in different ways. So if I click on this pen icon here, I can see what it is. Okay, I can see it's just a button that has been stripped down of a button or properties. So it's actually a link. So I don't need this. I can right click here and just delete this contact us here. So now I have these two, portfolio and contact us. Next, let's adjust the footer. So if you scroll down to the bottom of your page, you have this section here. This is actually the whole footer. There's even a contact us form there. If you edit the footer, you can now start adjusting it. Now it's quite massive here at the bottom, but let's say I actually like it. One thing with forms, just in general with Elementor, you need to click on any of these fields. Let's edit the form. So I right click and edit the form. Now here in the content, if you scroll down, you have email. Double check that the email is the correct one, because if it's not the correct email for the form, you're just not going to receive those emails. But in my case, I think I don't need the form in the footer. It's just going to be on the contact us page. So I think it's unrelated. So just we're going to right click here, delete. Again, just right click, delete this form. I'm going to keep this part of the footer because I think it's kind of handy. But what I will adjust is these icons. So if I click to adjust it on the pen icon, right click, edit social icons. Here you can choose social icon. You have Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you click on them, it expands this section, and now you can add. Now you could here add your Facebook link. Same thing for Instagram and YouTube. So directly to your channels. And once you're done with editing footer, let's save it. And let's go back to editing this page itself, because I want to add some animations to it. Yeah. So let's go to the top, edit page. Let's click on it. And now we can edit the page. And let's say for example, where is it? Here, portfolio. I want to add in a small fade in once you start scrolling. So to do that, let's right click here, edit basic gallery. And by the way, I've been calling this portfolio, but actually it's image gallery. And now if we go to advanced, we have motion effect, and we have scrolling effect. So vertical scroll, horizontal, transparency. I'm going to change the transparency. So fade in, level. So from where it starts, let's say I'll try it with the 10. So let's go back to transparency, and I'm going to adjust this one. So viewport, let's adjust this one. You see that it kind of disappears as the more I go to the right, but if I go to the bottom, to the left, and adjust this one like this. So now it will be, yeah, that looks much better. So by adjusting this right part, I'm able to get it completely faded already at this point. So you can see it fades in like that. Yeah, I think that's really nice effect. And if you want to even spice it up even more, we could also add something like horizontal scroll. So let's try it to left. Let's see what that does. You see, so as I scroll, it kind of moves from the right to left and goes. Oh, it goes actually past as I scroll. I think I want to stop it once it's here. So we go to horizontal scroll to left. The speed, and again we can adjust the viewport. So let's try from right first. Yes, so like this. And now you can see as you scroll, it kind of fades and also moves from the right to middle like that. I think it's a cool effect like this. So there's a bit of a movement. Don't overdo it. You don't need to put it for every element, but I think it does add a bit of premium feeling to it once you start doing this. And then also here's a couple other settings like blurs, rotate, and scale. You can play around with those and just see what it can do. Another cool thing that we can do with Elementor is this mouse effect. We kind of have it in action already here. As I kind of move around my mouse here, the background image moves behind there, and also this image moves a little bit. So we can set that up using mouse effect. Let's select some elements. For example, we have these two images here, I believe. Oh, it's one image, but let's select this image, then go to advanced. And then here, if you scroll down to motion effects, enable the mouse effect. And if you click on mouse track and direction, you can choose opposite, for example, and then the speed, keep it as default. Now you can play around. Okay, whoa, it's already moving quite a lot. So let's adjust the speed to something smaller. Let's see. Yeah, now it's much more smoother. As soon as you hover over it, it starts to move around a little bit. I think that's really cool. And you can also add a bit of tilt to it if you want to. You see, it kind of has that 3D effect. In this case, I think it's a bit overdoing it. So I'm gonna disable it. And another animation effect that you can also add is the entrance animation. So whenever it comes first in the view, you can, for example, bounce in. So that's the effect that happens when it comes to view, or bounce down like that. Well, as you scroll, it kind of bounces from the top. But some of these effects are way overdoing it. So for example, slide from right, yeah, that can work. So for example, as you scroll, it slides from right like that. That can work, but again, just don't overdo it, because the point is not the effects. It's just to give a bit more that premium feeling as you build your website. I'm just gonna remove the slide effect. I'm gonna remove it. Just keep it to default. Update the page. Okay, and another cool feature that Elementor also provides is page transitions. And that's a bit harder to explain. I think it's easier to show. So let's go into the hamburger menu, go to site settings. And here in site settings, just scroll down and click on page transitions. And here you can adjust the page transition. And I'll show you in a sec. Let's just set it up. So entrance animation, let's, for example, use fade in, and exit animation, let's use fade out. Same color. And I'm gonna just adjust the speed a little bit, like this. Okay, let's try to preview this. Let's see if it works. Okay, it's a bit hard to see here, so I'm gonna update this. And then let's preview the change. So now you saw there was this color. When I change the page, it will fade. It goes to one color and then it flashes between. Pretty cool, right? You could add more things to it, because right now it's very simple. It just looks super smooth when you change a page and then there's this small animation between. As long as it's not too much, I think it can look very nice. So let's close this page. And if you want to adjust that, there's a lot of options here. You can just adjust them here. And another option here is preloader. You can add an icon or something that shows up when you're loading the page. Or you can choose the image and then you just upload your own logo, and then it would look something like this. Just as an example, you can see when you switch the pages, your logo appears there between. You can also have an animation like a circle. Let's take a look. Let's try it. Bouncing dots. Yeah, something like that. So if we now update it and preview the changes, you saw there was a little preloader. If I change the page, there's a preloader and it swaps here. Let's close this, and I'll keep it as this. Maybe the color could be different. So let's click on custom. I'm going to just select the same as our accent, like this. And now if I change the accent, also the color changes. This way they kind of match. I'm going to update it, and then I can close site settings. Next, I want to show you something called global widgets. And global widgets is something super useful once you start building up your website, because you create one global widget. So let's say this image gallery. I'm going to use it in pretty much all my pages. In that case, I can make it global. So if I make any updates to one of them, all of them get updated. And it's quite simple to do this. So let's make this into a global widget. So hover over the edit icon here, right click on it, and then save as global. Now we can give it a name, main image gallery, and save it. And now you can see if you go to mosaic, and instead of elements, you click on global, you have this main image gallery. So let's give it a try. I'm gonna add it here. So let's add a section just like this. And in the global, let's drag this one here. Now you can see it appears here the same way as on the top. Same effects, same everything. Now, what if I change one image here? Well, I click on it. Oops. I click on this, edit the basic gallery. And let's change one image. So I'm going to delete one and maybe add to gallery. Let's add something very like this girl here. Add to gallery. Now I have the girl. Move it to the first one. Insert gallery. It's not balanced now because, yeah, it just doesn't fit here. But just to show you, I'm going to click on update. And now if I scroll down, there's nothing here. But if I refresh the page, you wait a bit and then it loads. You can see the girl is now at the top and also at the bottom. So it updates everywhere the same way. And that's how easy it is to add a global widget. And this is a super useful feature, especially if you have a lot of pages. You can just create one widget, global widget, and then use that across your website. Now I went back to WordPress dashboard, and right now I think we need to take a look at the plugins that you should install as a new to WordPress. So let's go to plugins, add new. And I'll just show you how to install one, and then I'll give you a list of plugins to install so that you know what to do. So let's install a plugin that will actually compress our images when we upload them. This will save bandwidth and also speed up your page load, which is super important. Let's type in the search box Smush. Personally, I like this Resmush plugin. Let's click on install now and click on activate once it becomes active. Okay, now we've installed and activated this plugin. You can see it here, Resmush it, image optimizer. You can also go ahead and click on settings and adjust the plugin here. Sometimes some plugins are work from start. As soon as you activate them, they will work. But for example, for Resmush it will work for new uploads. But if you want to optimize the current images, you could also optimize all images. This might take a bit of time, but it's really worth it because it will reduce some image sizes by 90%. Other plugins you should get are WP Fastest Cache, which will help you with load speed. Loading speed is very important for a website because otherwise people will abandon your site if it's too slow to load, and also Google likes fast websites. Then to secure your website, install WordFence plugin. That will give you some peace of mind. Then you have Yoast SEO plugin that will help you with ranking in Google search results, and GA Google Analytics plugin, which will help you track how many people come to your website and which pages they visited. You would also need to sign up for Google Analytics separately to make this work, but it's totally free. I'll leave tutorials to each of these plugins in the description of this video. Next, let's install a custom domain name for our Elementor Cloud. So I usually get my domain names from Namecheap. This is where you can just register your domain name and buy it. I'll leave a direct link to this page in the description of this video. It's about $9 for a .com extension. The cool thing about Namecheap is that it comes with this privacy protection within the price. So for example, if you go with GoDaddy, they have same price domain names, but the privacy protection costs, I don't know, $20 or $15. And the problem with that is if you don't get the privacy protection, that means your details, your name, your address, and things like that will appear in a publicly available database called Whois. So I don't like that. I want to keep my details private. That's why I like to go with Namecheap and their privacy protection. So all you have to do is type in here your domain name. And let's search if this domain name is available. Now, .com will be quite hard to find for certain keywords, but if you're able to secure .com, that's much better to have than having any of the others, except if you have a domain extension specific to a country, like for example for Germany there's .de, or for UK .co.uk. If you're targeting your website for a specific country only, then just go for that. But otherwise, try to get .com. There's also .net or .io that you can use, but I would go with .com, and if it's available, you just add it to cart and go on to purchase this domain name. So if you go to checkout, and here it'll just say for how long. You can buy it for a year or for 5 years, whatever you prefer. And then domain privacy, keep it enabled because it's free. and then you just go on and purchase it. Once you purchase your domain name and log into Namecheap, you can go to domain list, and then you can scroll down to your domain. In my case, I have many, so that's why I need to actually scroll quite far. And then here you click on manage. Then click on advanced DNS. We're gonna add a record. Scroll down and then click on add new record here. Choose a record. As a host, I believe it was @. You log into Elementor and you click on websites. You land on this page. Now we can go on and manage this website. So let's click on that and scroll down a little bit. You have here manage domains, add custom domains. So let's do that. Then you go to Elementor and grab the A record. Just copy it and then go to Namecheap and place the IP address here. And let's keep it automatic and click on this green check mark to save the changes. Now you should have one A record that points to this IP address. And we go back to Elementor. Now let's add our custom domain name, which is basically the domain name you just created. So let's do that. You can set this domain name as your primary domain also. We don't need this. I don't think it's required to have www. I just want to have data@eldorado.com. I don't need the www. So add domain. It also informs you here that the site lock is on, so you will need to unlock it once this all works out. And you can see that it might take up to 48 hours. Usually much faster. It's usually maybe 5 to 30 minutes maybe, and then it works. But sometimes it takes longer. And you can see once the domain is ready, you'll get notification from them by email. So we can click on done, and now it's just waiting for that. And then I came about an hour later, and you can see now here, this is my domain name is now primary. And if I scroll up, I can click on this URL here and we'll open up it in a new tab. You can see it's my custom domain name and my website is already on it. Now, if I click on portfolio, it will switch the page smoothly with the transition. And there's even a loader there. And same thing when I switch to contact us. Since you have now the skills to build your own website, how about checking out this video here where I show you where to get royalty-free images that look just amazing. You have images, videos, all of that is just there. I'll show you a couple websites. Good images can add so much quality feeling to your website.